All right, let's talk about one of the biggest debates happening in kitchens all over the world. We're going to dive into a choice most of us make literally every single morning. Do you go with the classic drip machine, or do you reach for one of those sleek, single-serve pods? It might seem like a small thing, but trust me, the answer has some pretty big consequences. You know the feeling, right? That first cup of coffee in the morning. For so many of us, it's not just a drink, it's a ritual. It's simple, it's comforting, and let's be honest, it's absolutely essential to getting the day started. But what if I told you that behind that simple cup, there's a whole hidden story? A story about convenience, sure, but also about money and a massive environmental impact. So, when you push that brew button, what are you really choosing? Let's get into it.
So, in one corner of the ring, you've got the old faithful, the tried and true drip coffee machine. And in the other corner, you have the new contender, the super sleek, super fast, single-serve pod brewer. These are the two heavyweights battling it out for that prime real estate on your kitchen counter.
And really, this isn't just about two machines. It's about two completely different ways of thinking about coffee. On one side, you have the ritual, right? Scooping the grounds, hearing the water gurgle, the whole kitchen smelling amazing as a full pot brews. But on the other side, it's all about the instant win. One button, no mess, and a perfect cup in like under a minute. It's two totally different paths to get to that same delicious goal. So you gotta ask, how did the pod machine just take over? I mean, they're everywhere now. Well, it all boils down to one thing: the power of convenience. The allure of getting exactly what you want right now. Let's look at why they became so popular in the first place. I mean, the appeal is pretty obvious. They're crazy fast, and there's basically zero cleanup. But the real secret weapon? The variety. All of a sudden, your kitchen counter became a Starbucks, a Dunkin', you name it. Hundreds of choices right at your fingertips, anytime you want. That was a total game changer. But, and this is a big but, all that convenience came with a staggering hidden price tag. Just look at this number from a life cycle study. We're talking 9 billion pods hitting landfills in just 1 year. And get this, that was back in 2014. This is where that simple story of convenience starts to get really, really complicated. And that problem leads us directly to this number: $3 million. That's how much Keurig Canada had to pay in fines. Why? For misleading people about whether their K-Cup pods could actually be recycled. And this is a textbook example of a practice called greenwashing. It's a pretty simple concept, really. It's when a company talks a big game about being eco-friendly in their ads, but in reality, they aren't doing the work to back it up. They're selling you the feeling of being green without actually being green.
So here's how they did it. Keurig's claim was that, yeah, the pods are recyclable, but there was a huge catch. You had to peel off the foil lid, empty out the wet coffee grounds, and then hope that your local recycling center could even handle that type of tiny plastic. The reality? For most of us, that's just not going to happen. So, as Canada's Competition Bureau found out, the vast majority of these pods were just ending up in the trash, creating a huge, confusing mess for the waste system.
Okay, so with all that in mind, it's time for the big showdown. We're going to break this down and compare these two brewers on the three things that really matter: how much it costs you, what it costs the planet, and of course, how good the coffee actually is. Now, you might be thinking, okay, plastic pods are bad, but what about compostable pods? Aren't they the perfect fix? It seems like an obvious solution, right? But is it really that simple?
Well, the science gives us a pretty clear answer. And here's the deal. If, and that's a big if a compostable pod actually makes it to a proper industrial composting facility, it's a massive improvement. We're talking a lower global warming impact, way less fossil fuel use, and just generally being much less toxic to the environment. But here's the catch. If you just throw it in your regular trash and it ends up in a landfill, it can actually be worse than plastic because it releases methane gas. So that green benefit only works if it's composted correctly.
All right, let's shift gears from the planet's budget to your budget. What's the real, honest-to-goodness cost every time you make a cup of coffee at home?
And when you look at the long-term cost, the numbers don't lie. Drip coffee using a bag of grounds is way, way cheaper. It's not even close. With pods, you're paying a lot more for every single cup, sometimes 2, even 3 times as much. That speed and convenience, definitely comes at a price. Okay, so what about the most important part, the taste? This is where the trade-off is just crystal clear. With drip coffee, you are in complete control. You pick the beans, you decide how coarse or fine to grind them, you control the temperature. You're the artist. With pods, it's all about that convenience, but you're locked in. The quality is whatever they decided to put in that little cup for you. There's no room to play.
And hey, don't think that drip coffee just means one boring old machine. Not at all. As some testing from CNET shows, the world of drip brewers is huge. You can go for a super simple, budget-friendly Mr. Coffee that just gets the job done. Or you can step it up to a Ninja that lets you customize your brew. Or you can go all out with a high-end Breville that even makes cold brew. Seriously, there's a drip machine out there for everyone.
So after all that, who wins the great coffee debate? Well, the truth is, the goal here isn't to tell you what to buy. The goal is to help you figure out what's the perfect match for you.
And this is probably the most important thing to remember. There is no single best coffee maker. It just doesn't exist. The right machine for you depends 100% on what you care about most.
Let's make it super simple. If what you value most is pure speed and zero-effort convenience, then yeah, pods are your champion, no question. But if your top priorities are saving money and being kinder to the planet, then the classic drip coffee pot is the hands-down winner.
But wait, what if you want to find a middle ground? Good news, there are some really great options. We already talked about compostable pods. They're a great choice, but only if you can actually get them to an industrial composting site. Maybe the best solution of all, though, is a reusable filter for your pod machine. You just fill it with your own coffee grounds. This little thing slashes your waste, saves you a ton of money, and gives you way more control over how your coffee tastes.
So, let's put it all together in a simple 3-step plan for you. Step 1. Figure out your #1 priority. Is it planet, price, or pace? Step 2. Think about those hidden costs, both for the environment and for your wallet over time. And step 3. Choose your brew, whether that's a classic drip machine, a compostable pod, or that awesome reusable filter.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. The next time you go to make your morning coffee, you'll know the whole story hiding inside that simple cup. The only question left is, now that you know, is it going to change how you brew?